Hello viewer and welcome to Season 2 of the PNTCC. Now I didn't do any videos for Season 1 because it was a test bench and it went down pretty well in the community. So here we are. We are starting off with round 1 at Mid-Ohio Speedway. We're doing the full circuit layout here today in our WTCR cars, 2020 and 2021 cars. Now Mid-Ohio Speedway consists of 13 corners with the best overtaking opportunities at turn 2 and turn 4. Turn 9, however, is an off-camber right-hander, making it quite difficult for the cars to get the power down. So without further ado, let's get underway with race 1 of Season 2 of the PNTCC. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for race 1 of Season 2 of the PNTCC here at Mid-Ohio. There are 2 races, and the second race being a reverse grid. But this is the qualifying order and we're off. Jamski getting a fantastic start. Straight off the line. Going to be pressuring myself, PNTCC early. Taking a couple of cones, but completely move. Nice squeeze of Andy because he's having to... I had to let off there to let Jamski through. But now I'm under pressure from Coulson, coming up from 3rd place. Going to try and move around the outside of turn 2, which is a great overtaking opportunity around Mid-Ohio. Fantastically done. Being able to get the power down early and really creating a gap between myself. And is currently under pressure from Geordie Evans here in the Lincoln Co. The nice sky blue livery. Very pretty WTCR car. As we now go over the crest left-hander. Down into the right-hander. You've got to keep your car nice and smooth. It's very easy to get a lot of understeer through these corners in these cars. Luckily in the PNTCC we are allowed to edit our setup. And, Geordie just going a little bit wide there. Allowed to edit our setup to try and get the best we can out of the car. As I'm trying to put Coulson under pressure here, who seems to have locked up the front right, and he's gone off the circuit, allowing me and Evans to come through. Yogi is trying to pressure Evans here in the other ladder. Coulson driving the Hyundai, of course. Yogi looking up the inside. Is he committing? Not quite. He backed out, allowing Coulson to take the racing line, which, to be fair, for Yogi is very good racing. Someone who is brand new to sim racing this year, literally only a few months. So Yogi doing a fantastic job of awareness there, allowing Coulson the corner as we go on board with myself, PNTCC, trying to catch up Jamski, who in qualifying and I was quicker than Jamski. As we come down the straight past T3, which is pretty much not a corner, into T4. I seem to go quite wide, carrying too much speed through. Up to T5, over the crest and down. And through the flowing right, left, right, coming up to T9. Very tricky, awkward corner. But if you get it right, it does feel very, very nice to drive and to go through. Catching up Jamski here through Sector 2. As we just enter Sector 3 right now, which is the slightly calm right-hander into a off-camber left to a downhill right-hander, making braking and weight transfer of these cars very awkward. As we go on the rear bumper of Jamski, as we go onto the start-finish straight, we're already 3 minutes in, and the action is pretty close. There's not many gaps. There's a gap now between the top 3 and the rest of the crew. Probably a good 2-3 seconds there. You can see Coulson and Yogi in the distance. Still on Jamski's rear bumper. I seem to look down the inside. Not really a gap there. But Jamski gets a fantastic exit out of the corner. I take that way too shallow. As we come down to T3. Just a little right hand kink in the straight. It's not really a corner, to be honest, but we'll take it. As we go into T4, hard on the brakes. The Lada seems to do much better on the brakes compared to the Cupra. Over the crest. The Lada's looking very planted, I have to say. The setup I had on that car must have been pretty damn good. But slowly putting pressure onto the Cupra. Jordy Evans, Lincoln Co. It's looking a little bit off balance there. But our ladder is planted as I see a gap down the right hand side of Jamski. We go on board. Back off a little bit here because I don't want to cause an accident. There's still 5.5 minutes left of the race to go. But I know that I got Jamski on the ropes here. You can see Geordie in the background in the mirror. Keeping up. Race is nice and close, nice and safe as well. We do allow a little bit of door rubbing here in the PNTCC as long as it's not an absolute punterino. As we go to the Sky helicopter, or a little bit of a freeze frame there, but we'll keep that in. We'll go up to Ernie in the sky, shall we call him? We'll call him Ernie. As we come on to the back straight, as it were. All three cars evenly gapped out, actually, to be fair, but you can see the slip of the ladder to the Cupra down that straight, really closing in that gap. Let's go back on board, try and move around the outside. No luck there. Jamski just places his car in such a nice area. Can't really do much about that, because if you carry too much speed through turn 4, you will understeer out and leave the door open for the person behind you. So we go over T9, infamous T9. Geordie looking like he's just hoping that we make a mistake here. It's not pressuring me too much, Anders. Don't know why the camera is kept on myself so much. Maybe it's just seems a little bit more interesting from a chasing view. We can see that Yogi and Coulson are really close together in the background there. As we go over the start-finish line with 3 minutes 50 on the clock. And Yogi and Coulson look very, very close. Hopefully we'll go on board with them in just a moment. But as we come up to T3, we see Evans going a little bit wide. And you can see that, here we are, we're on board with Yogi. Looking to get down the inside of Coulson, who leaves the door quite open and brakes a little bit late. Not enough braking there, but same for Yogi. Carrying too much speed and misses an upshift, which is going to allow Coulson a little bit of a switch back. Yeah, here we are, going down the back straight. And Coulson gets that pretty comfortably, and he's got the inside line into T4 as well, which is what you want. It's going to be easy for Coulson to defend here and to keep Yogi behind him for at least another half a lap. Nice smooth driving here by Yogi and Coulson. And the Megane that we've mentioned at the very back is Connor Max, who for the first time was driving the Megane and still getting used to it. Incredibly good defensive driver, but just not quite getting his luck around Mid-Ohio. It's not also his favourite circuit as well, so it's here in spirit. So we're now on board with Jamski as we cross over the line with 2 minutes 19 left to go, which means that we've probably got 2 laps left of this race, of race 1. It's been a pretty close affair. And this is the good thing about this, is that no matter the skill level, whether you're an experienced sim racer or whether you're completely new to sim racing, as we can see in the background, Yogi's actually got Coulson there, so Coulson must have locked up again and managed to get through up into P4, which is great news for Yogi. Brilliant drive. So we're now on board with Jordy Evans, who's attending his first full season. Jordy joined very late into season 1, didn't really get a chance to get to know us, but after 2 rounds, yes, 2 rounds as I'm editing this, we have done round 2 already as well. Really bringing it to the table and causing challenges up front with the likes of Bo Dixon, which you'll see in round 2 at Sonoma Raceway WTCC layout. See, Jordy is taking T9 very cautiously, but Jammer's looking very twitchy as we go on board with myself. 1 minute left on the clock now. So yeah, we're coming up to the last lap here at race 1. Trying to keep the pressure on, trying to get Jamski to make a mistake. But he's a very composed driver, so for him to do that, it's going to take quite a bit. Jamski is on it, carrying a lot of speed through T1. Looks absolutely lovely there. A bit twitchy, but absolutely lovely through that corner. As we just nip on board with Yogi, who we can now see has got a nice healthy gap between himself and Coulson. So he's comfortably got P4 for race 1 of the PNTCC, as we're on board with Evans, who's had a little bit of a casual drive here. He's been hoping that Jamski and I make a mistake, but it hasn't really happened. As we see a lockup from myself actually into T4, but not really able to capitalise on it. He's getting a good exit out of T5, pressuring me down into C6, but having to let off a lot of speed because he just can't seem to carry as much speed as the ladder through the corners. As we come up to T9, still trying to get the pressure on Jamski here. But Geordie having a great drive in race 1 as well. Everyone having such a brilliant drive in race 1, PNTCC Season 2. And there are loads of slots available. We've still got another 14 slots. So if you're still watching this and you think this is quite entertaining and quite close and you think, yeah, I want a bit of that, make sure you look at the link in the description below and join our Discord. As Jamski crosses the line to finish race 1 of Season 2 to PNTCC. Victorious. Start off really well. So this is what the table looked like straight after race 1. Jamski on top with 35 points. Myself in P2 with 31. Evans with 31.5 as he gets 2.5 points extra for the fastest lap of the race. With Yogi coming up in 4th and Coulson coming up in 5th. And Connor sadly DNFing. So race 1 was a close yet steady affair. Let's see how race 2 went down. We're going to start off on Jamski because he usually gets epic starts off the line. And we are... go! Oh, massive wheel spin here by Jamski, allowing everyone to go through. Yogi has jumped into the lead, getting a better start than Coulson, with Evans right behind him. Coulson and Yogi still battling it out, actually, side by side after T1. So we're on board with Evans, or we're watching Evans rather, as we're going into T3, as Evans hit Coulson in the back, offsetting his car. This is giving a massive opportunity to Yogi, who, by the looks of it, yes, he's powered straight into the lead. Evans is on the outside of T4, however. He's going to make it quite a difficult manoeuvre to do. And we're on board with Evans now. And that's brilliant braking there. Brilliant move around by Evans against Coulson. Now he's just got to defeat the Norwegian Yogi, who is becoming leaps and bounds. I was saying earlier in race 1 that he's pretty brand new to sim racing, pretty good on Dirt Rally 2. He's used to rally simulators, but racing simulators not so much. But his skill levels are coming on leaps and bounds. Evans really trying to keep the pressure up against Yogi though. Really trying hard to offset him, but Yogi's not having any of it. He's keeping his head nice and calm, nice and cool, composed. Coulson, a little bit off balance in that Hyundai, I tell you, with myself behind Coulson, sorry. Jamski following up the rear, and it looks like Connor's already DNF'd. He didn't get on very well in race 1 with the car. As Evans has got a brilliant exit out of T1, looking to do a manoeuvre into T2. Is he going to try and do one around the outside? He is going to try and do one around the outside. Yogi does have the inside line now, but Evans is sticking it in there. And a fantastic exit as well against Yogi. Yogi was absolutely no chance. He gave plenty of room. Really safe driving there by Yogi, thinking of the long run. But Evans, what a fantastic move that was. As I look down the inside of Coulson, Jamski's pushing me through there. And Coulson's got it back, but we're on board with Yogi. Or we're watching Yogi rather than saying on board. We're not on board with Yogi. And he's trying to keep the pressure up against Coulson. I'm still... not Coulson, sorry. Against Evans. I've managed to get past Coulson, who runs wide by the looks of it, looking in the background. Allowing Jamski to come through. So the current order is Evans in first, Yogi in second, PNR Anders in third, or Anders in third, Jamski in fourth, and Coulson in fifth. Remember, there are loads of slots available, 14 slots left available in the PNTCC, so if you want to get involved in this, just this little fun little league, please do. The more, the merrier. As long as you're like-minded like us, where we're just looking for a good time, not too many punts, doesn't matter about your skill level or your nationality, get involved. So the Norwegian Yogi is still trying to put on the pressure to Evans as a cone goes off in the background. Jamski seems to like hitting his cones. Yogi's doing a good job of keeping up with Coulson, who gets again a really good exit out of T2. There's not a lot that Yogi can do as we go on board with Anders, myself. Look, watching Yogi getting the slip of Evans, but I seem to be also getting the slip of Yogi down into T4. I'm late on the brakes compared to the two in front. Managing to keep the gap. Ooh, that was a bit of a squeaky bum time right there. As we almost went into the back of our teammate Yogi. Manufacturer Cup is on. It wasn't in during this round, but it is now. Just to give that extra level of fun and competition, really. Nothing too serious. We go over T9. Evans get a really lackluster start out of there, but Yogi can't seem to capitalise because Evans closed the door, but he goes right outside, going side by side with Evans, which both cars went off and quite rightly back in the positions that they were prior. Now I can only imagine that right behind this ladder is a Jamski biting at the bit to get by these two ladders and to get in front after commanding race one so well, just parking his car in the right spaces, just like Yogi did there. Really placing his car in the right space. As we go on board with Jamski, here we are. Seem to be on Jamski's roof, going into T2. He was late on the brakes, trying to get a nice late apex to get as much power down on exit. As we're heading down into T3 and T4. The slipstream is real. Yogi defends the inside line, so I go around the outside by the looks of things. As we're about to go 3 abreast into T4. This cannot end well. Jamski late brakes, but can't hold it. Yogi still holding the position into second. Myself and Jamski are now battling it out, but I have the inside line into turn 7. And I just closed the door on Jamski. Through turn 8 we go. Or turn 7 we go, actually, sorry. Into turn 8. And over crest turn 9. Oh, and Yogi runs wide here, allowing a gap for myself to go through. Lado and Lado. It looks like Jamski had a bit of an off as well. And Yogi locks up, hitting into me, but luckily we both come away from that unscathed. Now, you would have noticed that in race 1 we had a time limit in the top left-hand corner underneath the PNTCC logo and banner. There is a reason for that, and I will tell you why in a little while when something slightly peculiar happens as we go around T1 of Mid-Ohio full circuit. Yogi pretty much having a good sniff at the gearbox of the ladder, assuming the gearbox in these cars are right at the very back. They're probably not, actually. They're probably in the bumper. Or not in the bumper, in the bonnet. I doubt these are rear engines, so the gearbox will not be there. As we head down the long straight, trying our best to catch up Evans as we go around T3. Few minor adjustments there by myself, coming into T4. Look at the braking gap that I create against Yogi into T4 as we go around T5 into T6. Sorry, not T7, T6. Into T7, the left-hander. Over the crest, into T8. Hard on the brakes. Over the crest into T9. These cars really do not like that corner, and if you get it wrong, you are a goner. As we go around T10 into the nice sweep in T11, which if you get right, you don't need to let off into T12. And we see that I go into the pits. Now, the reason being is, one, I didn't have enough fuel. And that's because rather than setting it for 10 minutes, I set it to 10 laps like an absolute noob. So we all needed to pit because we were all not going to make the end of the race. And rather than completely screw everything up and people lose because they have to do a pit and they've not had like strategies ready or anything like that, we decided to do a virtual safety car. But rather than just a traditional one, we all grouped ourselves back up and we put ourselves back in the order of what it was before I went into the pits on that lap. Now this leaves 2 laps of racing and the order goes as follows: Evans followed by PNR, Anders followed by Yogi, followed by Jamski, followed by Coulson. So it was a mad dash to the sprint. Connor gave us the go on the Discord. And we're back to racing. We keep the camera on myself because it allows us to see everyone. As Jamski runs a little bit wide, as we're now heading up into T2. Go on board, such a gorgeous camera angle. I love that bit. Sadly, it only works on my car because it's something to do with the race room replay. It's a shame that we can't have that on every car. I would love to use this angle more than the cars. As Evans kind of went defensive early. And I don't know why I look up the right hand side, but we can see that Evans and I have already created a gap as I tried to go around the outside into T4. But I back out at the last minute, running a little bit wide actually, allowing Evans to create a small, maybe 2 or 3 tenths gap as we go down into T6, into T7, into T8. All still relatively close, and as we go into T9, Evans makes an awful mistake. Either locked up the front or just went completely off balance. And we had a bit of a freeze frame there, sorry about that. And I managed to get, because I had the momentum, managed to just breeze by. Evans absolutely kicking himself here because he's been so good through race 1 and consistent, and so good through race 2 before the pit stop. And now he's having to do all the hard work that he has done again. As he looks like the inside of T1. But he has to back out because I've got track position. And sadly that manoeuvre, if he waited maybe one more corner, he probably would have been able to do something into T2. Because I had a pretty bad entry into T1, which means I had a bad exit. But he locks up the brakes into T2, creating half a second gap easily onto the back straight as we go on board with Jamski, who has not had the most successful of race 2s, but he is stuck behind Yogi, who is fantastic at defending. And as I say that, the commentator's courtesy runs wide. And Jamski and Yogi go side by side as they come over the start-finish straight. Oh, is this a replay? Oh, this is a replay. This is a replay. Okay, so that's a replay on how Jamski in the background there managed to get into P3. Sorry, as I'm audio recording this, I'm doing this live after I've done the edit, and I didn't realise I've got a couple of free frames in here, so I will try to do a little bit better for round 2. But this is the first time that I'm trying to do videos like these, and it's already coming up to 24 minutes long. So if you are still here and you're still watching this, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you are a fellow race roomer, get involved. Get involved, the more the merrier. We are genuinely, you know, a lot of communities say this, we are genuinely a good bunch of guys. But as we come up to the last penultimate corners, the penultimate corners, let's stick with that. You can tell I do commentating, don't you? As we come round T12, Evans just not able to do anything. Round turn 13, as I take race 2 victory in the PNTCC Season 2 at Mid-Ohio, which gives us a result of this, essentially. So I got 33.5, I believe, because of the fastest lap of the race. Evans in P2, Jamski in P3, Yogi in P4, Mark in P5, and Connor DNF'd after lap 1. But he's still able to get points because he got involved. And that's the end of race 2. So that was round 1 of the PNTCC Season 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's the first kind of video I've done of this kind. And I'm going to try and do it for every single round that we have in Season 2, which is 13 in all, including the brand new track, Donington Park. So if you want to get involved, make sure you check out the links in the description below. And if you have the time, and if you're still watching this by this point, drop a like, drop a subscribe. I think I deserve it if you're still here. Clearly it's been that good. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourself, and I'll see you for round 2 PNTCC.